What is going on, guys? NFL Week 16 is here. Can't believe the season's almost done already. In this video, I'll be going through my top player prop picks for the slate today. It's a fun one. We've been pretty hot to start out this week. We swept the board yesterday on the Saturday slate. Also swept the board on Thursday Night Football and those crazy games. We've had some pretty awesome games this week already. We had that Rams-Seahawks thriller on Thursday night, and then the Bears coming out of nowhere last night to win this game. So it's been a lot of fun this week. We're winding down towards the end of the season at this point. I talked about this in yesterday's video a bit, but basically my strategy at this point in the year is I'm starting to wind down my play too, because once you get in the week 16, 17, and 18, you get into these situations where there's a lot of these guys injured, banged up. They're not going to be out there in full force. You have these teams that are tanking. You have teams that are preparing for the playoffs. Just so many different situations. So full disclosure, week 16 is usually the last big week for me. I will have plays on week 17. I'll also have videos too. But week 18, I normally just completely skip. I don't even mess with it. Maybe like one or two plays in total if there is like one game where both teams have everything to play for. But for the most part, I skip everything in week 18 just because it's really it's not a battle I want to fight. I'd rather just wait until the playoffs and really tackle those games instead of trying to guess on these, 6-string wide receivers and project targets. And it's just a mess I don't want to get into. But anyways, before I get into the plays for today, just a couple normal reminders. Join the free Discord, completely free to join. Link is in the pinned comment below. If you want to become a VIP and see all of my other plays besides just what I'm posting on these YouTube videos for NFL and NBA each day, obviously I don't post a video every day for NBA. I have a job, unfortunately, that gets in the way of that kind of stuff. But I do always post plays and slips for the VIPs. So if you want a 3-day free trial for the VIP, there is a link in the description below. Obviously, it's not required. You can always get most of my plays on YouTube and stuff, but I don't post everything on here. So if you want like full access to everything, the VIP package is for you. And then the app I'm showing here on the screen, as always, is Outlier.bet, the number one research tool out there. If you want a 7-day free trial to Outlier, there's a link located in the description below where you can get just that. All right, let's jump into the plays here for today. I've got, it looks like 5 straight bets and 3 parlay fillers I'm going to be going through. Not a ton, at least compared to some previous weeks, but like I said, getting this late in the season, we start to wind down a bit. We'll start with my favorite play of the week, as always, is CeeDee Lamb over 24.5, longest reception. Lines moved, so I actually saw this line at 24.5. I think it was on Tuesday, and I posted for the VIPs. I go, you have to jump on this now on Underdog Fantasy before it moves to 26.5. It looks like it did end up moving to 25.5 on PrizePicks and Underdog where it settled. Basically, it was at 24.5 on Underdog, and then it was 26.5 on PrizePicks. They found a middle ground at this 25.5. Either is fine with me. Basically, if you've been watching my videos, you know I make this play every single week, and it wins for us basically every single week. Games with Dak Prescott last 2 years where both CeeDee and Dak have been completely healthy. CeeDee has gone over this number in 16 out of 17 healthy games with Dak Prescott, with the only loss being the 23-yard game against the Raiders a few weeks back. The 0 is a game that CeeDee Lamb got hurt in earlier this year, and then the 10 from last year is the game that Dak Prescott got hurt in. So every other game he's had 27 or more. I'm shocked that they're still giving us this number with how much money it's made us this year. I know I can't be the only one touting this. If I am, great. I've literally said it every week since week 1. But yeah, 27 plus every single week. They're giving us 25.5. I'm going to take this every single week up until they start putting it up at 27.5. And at this point in here, it looks like we'll just be able to get it for the rest of the season, at least this week, hopefully next week. And then, I don't know, we'll see what happens next year. Next play for today is an under on Harold Fannin, under 54.5 receiving yards. Line did not really move too much compared to when I bet it the other day. It actually moved only 1 yard down, so not much of a difference. But I got 54.5 receiving yards, so that's what I'll talk about. That's what I posted for the VIPs earlier in the week. Fannin's a stud. He's an absolute stud. He's gone under this number in 10 out of 14 games this year, and 4 to 5 games with Shedeur Sanders at quarterback. So let me scroll down to Sanders to show you what that chart looks like. So averaging 54.2 yards per game with Sanders at quarterback. Obviously, Sanders didn't play the entire game in all these ones. He came in off the bench in, I think, one or two of them. But anyways, he's gone under this number. I know Njoku is going to be out, and it is probably going to lead to a lot more targets for Fannin. But this is like the worst matchup he could possibly get. The Bills, they're only allowing 32.8 receiving yards per game to tight ends this year, second best in the NFL. And only two tight ends have actually gone for over 46 yards against them. One of them was Mike Gesicki because he had like a 37-yard catch, and the other was Travis Kelce, which, you know, Kelsey's got the volume too, very similar to Fannin, but he like barely went over this number. So 54.5, a little bit too high of a number for Harold Fannin. I know he's going to get some work. He's probably going to get a ton of catches. Let's just hope he stays under this number because the Bills, their linebackers and safeties are really good at defending tight ends this year. Moving on to another under we are on, and it is Rico Dowdle, under 60.5 rushing yards. The line has moved down to 59.5 on PrizePicks, 58.5 on Underdog Fantasy. It's really not too much of a difference there. Obviously, pick and choose the book that you place your bet on because you want to make sure that you're getting the absolute best number as possible. Reasoning for this one, Dowdle only averages 49.1 rushing yards per game when Chuba Hubbard is also playing. So let me pull that chart up for you quick. You see 49.1 yards per game, going under this number in 10 out of 12 games. Obviously, he had those big spike games in the middle of the season where he was literally the guy. He was getting all the carries. You see his rush to share was up to like 76%, 78%, and then 76% again. In recent weeks, it has gone back down to that 50-50 split or so, and he's been going under this 60.5 rushing yards number for the most part. The Buccaneers also, they're a solid run defense. They're allowing only 80.4 rushing yards per game in total to running backs this year. That's 8th best in the NFL. I think this game actually might shoot out in the passing game potentially, and I'm not going to expect a lot of running. So we're going to ride this Rico Dowdle under this week and hope it hits for us. Two more plays before we move over to the parlay fillers. The next one is Justin Herbert, over 17.5 rushing yards. Line's moved up. It's moved up to 19.5. Over on, looks like that's Kalshi, and see what it is on PrizePicks and Underdog at this point. It might be 18.5 there. Yeah. So it's 18.5 on PrizePicks and Underdog. So it has moved up 1 yard since I bet it earlier in the week. I don't know why it wasn't showing there, but anyways, Herbert's gone over this number in 10 out of 14 games this year, averaging 29.9 rushing yards per game. Dallas is allowing 22.4 rushing yards per game to quarterbacks this year for third worst in the entire NFL. 8 other quarterbacks have actually ran for 23 or more yards against them this season. I think Herbert can easily get this in just a couple of carries. He's averaging 4.9 rush attempts per game. But that's kind of skewed because he has like a couple 10 games and 9 games in there. Most likely outcome is like 3 to 5 rush attempts or so. I think he'll be able to get over 19 yards on those 3 to 5 attempts, or 18 yards is what I have. But solid spot for Herbert here in a game that might actually shoot out as well. So it's really tough to predict in Week 16 what's going to happen in a lot of these games. But this game does have one of the highest over-unders on the week on the Vegas lines. And then the final play, this was actually a Saturday ad that I added in, and it's Gardner Minshew, over 212.5 passing yards. Obviously, no sample on Minshew. He threw, 5 passes last game when Mahomes went down from injury. Reasoning for this, it's just the matchup. Tennessee's allowing 233 passing yards per game, and 12 quarterbacks have thrown for 220 or more yards against the Titans this year. 212.5, bit too low for Minshew. I feel like this number should be a bit higher. So solid play there, but I'm also taking his parlay filler Green Goblin play. 174.5 passing yards. I mean, the Chiefs are out at this point. I don't see a reason why Gardner Minshew just doesn't come in and just sling. Travis Kelce has some incentives. He wants to be, he's probably done with his career after these next couple of games potentially. So I think Gardner Minshew is going to come out firing. He is a gunslinger. He always has had really good games historically when he's been coming in relief or been like the backup quarterback or something. So over 174.5 on a parlay filler, and then over 212.5 passing yards as a regular bet. That is going to wrap up the straight bets. Let's just head over to the parlay fillers really quick for you guys. The first one, other than that Minshew one, is Drake May, over 189.5 passing yards. Number's too low here. Gone over this number 13 out of 14 games. Only had 155 yards last week in a game that they really should have beat the Bills, but we won't go there. They kind of blew that one in the second half. Good matchup for him. Baltimore's allowing 233.3 passing yards per game for 7th most in the NFL. And, you know, there's only been 2 quarterbacks in the entire season who haven't gone over this number against Baltimore. One of them was Matt Stafford, ironically, who's been lights out all year. He just didn't need the passing yards against Baltimore. The other was the combination of Sanders and Gabriel, which, I mean, come on, they're not really anything good there. So 12 out of the 14, I think it is, quarterbacks have gone over the number against Baltimore. Drake May is next in that list, 189.5, just too low for him. And then the final parlay filler for us is when the Bills. It's something that we've been betting all year too. Not a fun one to bet, not something you really want to watch, to be honest with you, because he probably won't have a catch till the second half, because that just seems to be what he does. Like, he'll either make the catch in the first 5 plays of the game, or he gets nothing up until the third, fourth quarter. But Dalton Kincaid over 19.5 receiving yards over this number every single game this season, averaging 52.3 yards per game. Cleveland's defense is really good, but their weak spot is in the tight end position, allowing 51.4 receiving yards per game. And they've allowed 15 other tight ends to go for 20 or more yards against them this year. I keep saying every week, you could either go with him or Dawson Knox, but the Dawson Knox lines, it's just, I don't know. If you want to go the over 9.5 yards on Knox, go for it. But I'd rather just stick with the main guy of Dalton Kincaid. But that is going to wrap up the video today. My next video will be out on Monday for Monday Night Football's games. I'll have some picks for the game on Monday. And then I'll have NBA videos throughout the week. I still will have a Thursday night NFL video and a video for week 17. Probably going to take all of week 18 off. But if you guys aren't going to check out the other videos, I do want to take this moment to wish you all a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Hopefully we can all make some money. I think there is a game on Christmas too. So I'll have a video out on Christmas Day for you guys. I might post it on Christmas Eve or something, but we'll see. But anyways, best of luck on your bets this week. If you want to become a VIP member so you can see all of my bets for all sports every single day, you can get that 3-day free trial using the link in the description below. If you don't want to become a VIP, at least come join the Discord server. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.